Welcome to the Commerce Lab, where every week we sit down with top-performing consumer brands and leaders to understand what drives their success. How did they hit their first million, their first 20 million, their first 100 million? What strategies are working for them today that you should be testing? And what's not working that you should be avoiding? This isn't just a podcast. It's the business school for brand operators. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Commerce Lab. My name is Alan Burt, and today we are talking about how to rev up your marketing using SMS and Facebook Messenger. Specifically, how you can actually increase the value of somebody on your list by as much as 30% just by layering in automated SMS text messaging and automated Facebook Messenger into flows and communications that you're already having with your customer. So I brought on one of my buddies, Ben Parr from Octane AI, specifically to sit down and talk about two things. One is, if you're a brand who has not yet actually implemented SMS or has not yet actually implemented Facebook Messenger in any way, what's sort of that baseline, base level strategy that you need to be putting into place? What are those automations, and how do you layer them into your marketing playbook right now to actually start to see some success? So that was step one. The step two is we actually start to talk about some pretty cool advanced features, some things that most brands just don't even know existed. Stuff that, frankly, I didn't even know existed until a couple months ago when Ben and I first started talking about them. And one of them specifically is, how do you actually utilize a type of ad, a new type of ad on Facebook called Facebook to Messenger ad. So it's an ad that actually runs that directs somebody into Facebook Messenger so that then you can start to ask them certain questions, you can segment them. And then based upon the answers to those questions, you can actually put them into highly targeted SMS communications. So you can take somebody from a Facebook ad and ultimately get them to a segmented list that you're going to be text messaging, which is crazy. And we talk about some of the numbers and some of the successes from a few of the clients that he's had that have utilized this type of new type of ad and new type of tool. So I won't go into much more detail. We'll let Ben talk about all this here in the episode. So without further ado, Ben Parr of Octane AI, and we're going deep on SMS and Facebook Messenger. Hey, Ben, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So just to give, I know you very well. We've done a few things here recently, but for those that don't know who you are, can you give everybody just a little bit of context of who you are and what you do?
So, hey, everyone, I'm Ben. My original claim to fame is that I was the co-editor of Mashable, and I wrote a best-selling book for HarperCollins called Captivology on the science and psychology of attention, why we pay attention to certain people and products, and how to utilize that science to captivate others. More recently, I'm the co-founder and president of Octane AI. And Octane AI is the conversational marketing platform for e-commerce. And so we power Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and SMS, and conversational ads all under one roof. You can run all your conversational campaigns from our unified dashboard. Kind of think, like a lot of our customers like to call us the Klaviyo of messaging. So think the more advanced tactics that you'd want to do over Messenger and SMS, because the open rates are so much higher. This is where your customers are, but you need the tools to run custom flows to send really targeted messages, not just browse and cart abandonment messages, but messages based on the segments that you are creating in all of your other apps, as well as the AI to help automatically answer questions and to drive people through quizzes and help them make purchases. So we provide all that advanced functionality under one roof.
And that's exactly why, Ben, I wanted to have you on, because I think this is the right time to start talking about this. Like everybody knows they should be doing email, right? Everybody understands what Klaviyo is and the power of segmentation and creating automations and flows and the power of email. But the idea around SMS and Messenger, and I want to focus specifically on SMS today, just so we can stay very, very pointed with tactical advice for everybody listening. But the opportunities there are things that I think a lot of merchants understand and they want to start testing, but they haven't really dipped their toes in the water yet. So what I want to do on this episode today is kind of break it down and say, okay, if you're a brand, let's say you're doing, multiple seven figures in revenue, maybe low eight figures in revenue. You've got your email messaging dialed in, your email flows dialed in, your manual campaigns dialed in, and you're looking to start to explore SMS. What should be sort of those basic SMS flows or automations or whatever you want to call them that you need to set up to get started. So I want to start there and kind of talk through those. And then let's talk about some more advanced features for those of you that maybe have already dipped your toes into SMS and are already doing this. Let's talk about some really cool things that Ben is seeing work that maybe you haven't seen yet or that others haven't tried yet, and things that maybe can sort of push you to a better position as compared to your competition. So Ben, to kind of kick things off, if you're a brand that has not started with SMS yet, what's sort of the basic baseline setup you need to dive into?
Collect phone numbers, turn on key flows, send messages. Let me get more in depth into all of it. So you're starting at the beginning. It's honestly the flows and the things that you do for basics of email are the same that you should be doing for both Messenger and SMS, frankly. And that is step one, turn on your opt-ins. So have tools that can help you get phone numbers or get you Messenger subscribers. And so, Octane AI provides a bunch of those tools, but also great companies like Privy and Justuno provide these tools for collecting phone numbers and syncing them with Octane AI and your SMS list. A second piece of it too is make sure that you have the marketing opt-in turned on as a request, the checkbox on your checkout. It's a really powerful way to collect phone numbers and to market to those people. You want to have an explicit opt-in. And so we always recommend making sure that you have that on. And then making sure that if you are using Messenger, you have what we call the marketing opt-in flow turned on, which asks for email and phone number and it pre-populates it from their Facebook account. And all they have to do is click a button to share it. This helps you collect a lot more numbers, and it unifies someone's Facebook Messenger and Facebook profile to a phone number, which opens up a whole bunch of possibilities I'll talk about later. So step one.
Can you actually back up on that one just a second? Because I think I want to make sure everybody understands exactly what that means and where that gets done. So are you saying that when somebody comes to the store, right, and they receive a prompt, whether it's a pop-up from Justuno or Privy, is that where they're making that decision to sort of grant that access to pull that info from Facebook?
There are multiple places to do it. One is the pop-up, which Octane AI provides, and we integrate with Privy and Justuno and others to do that as well. You just click a button for Messenger. It automatically detects the Facebook account. All you have to do is click a button to share their opt-in. Now, one of the first things that should happen after that is you should have a message series. This is a pre-built flow in Octane AI, where it asks for email and phone number. And it's just hey, you get additional discount or additional thing if you share. If we can text you, what's your phone number? When you ask for that in Messenger, it pre-populates that phone number from Facebook. It's just pre-populated a button, and they just have to click one button to share it with you. So the result is you can collect Messenger, email, and phone number all in one swoop. We see that work remarkably well.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Thanks for explaining that. I just want to make sure everybody understood how easy that is and how powerful it can be. So once you've got those opt-ins, right, and people have now shared email, Messenger, and SMS, right, their phone number, you're talking about sort of triggering flows. And in the best way to think about this is it's the same way that your email flows would work, right? This is an automated sequence that's going to send SMS or Facebook messages to that individual, in the sequence and the timing that you set up, right?
Exactly. And the number one flow to set up, just same as email, same as everything else, is the abandoned cart flow. That's for sure the number one flow to set up. So you turn on the abandoned cart flow and have it send messages automatically. It's pretty easy to set up. I would take some time to A/B test and optimize the language of your abandoned cart flow, so you can see with one type of SMS message is performing better than another type. And then you also want to just make sure that if you can, that it doesn't hit at night or at a time when they're not going to be awake. There's lots of ways to do that as well. So abandoned cart flows are first. Then you could talk about all the other key flows. This is browse abandonment or upsell or win back. But you've got to not send as many messages on SMS as you do with email. So this actually leads to a second thing, which is once you do the flow, once you're starting the flow, you can't think of SMS as independent of your email or your Messenger. They are one flow. And this is always what we recommend at Octane AI. You have one unified flow. And so what you do is you stagger out the timing of when each message sends. And ideally, you have everything connected together. Now, give you an example. One of our customers, what they do, this is actually Feed Socks. They send out a Facebook Messenger cart abandonment message within the first half hour to an hour. Someone abandons a cart. If that person doesn't convert, then they'll shoot off an email from Klaviyo 4 hours afterwards. And if they don't convert within about 24 hours, then it'll send a text message. And so there's a sequence that happens over time. Starts with Messenger, then email, then SMS. And if at any point the customer converts, then the flow will stop. So it won't annoy the person anymore. But you do this because sometimes people open email, sometimes people are more Messenger people, sometimes people are more SMS people. So you want to have a unified flow that kind of staggers and turns off, obviously, once someone makes a purchase. So that's kind of like a really, really important thing to think about for each flow. Start with the cart abandonment flow, do that, optimize that, and then move on to your other flows. But don't make sure that your SMS flow is synced up with your email and your Messenger flow in terms of timing, so that you don't hit a person with 3 things at the same time.
And if you're using Octane as an example and you're connected to Klaviyo, that's you can actually then, how does that interface work, right? So can you see your Klaviyo flow and then determine where SMS and Facebook sort of line up with that original flow? Or what does that interface look like? Just to give us like an example. So
you can do this even if you didn't connect everything together, because you can just pick the timing right. Say 24, if it sends out if you just pick the timing as 4 hours.
Gotcha.
But it is better if it is connected, because then you can do conditional splits. I'll give you an example. Octane AI send, and we're the only ones who do this. We send events from Octane AI into Klaviyo. And so you can have like, if they open the message, do one thing. If they didn't open the message, do another thing. And so you can actually make more personalized conditional splits based on, oh, they opened the first Facebook message, so I should do this. Oh, they didn't open the Facebook message, they should do that. And then you can even later on make it so that then like your SMS message, based on like, did they open anything? Did they not open anything? But really, it's first sending events from Octane AI into Klaviyo so that you can trigger a different conditional split or a different email series based on what action they took. Did they click? Did they open?
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. So we're talking about abandoned cart. Then in terms of other sort of basic flows to set up outside of abandoned cart, would you look to start to layer in Facebook Messenger and SMS into those other baseline flows like browse abandonment and welcome series?
Yes. And again, think of it as one flow for each thing. Don't think of it as 3 different products or 3 different flows. They are one unified flow. Write it out. Even draw it out. We have a mock schedule in our playbook. If anyone wants to go take a look, it's in octaneai.com/playbook. It gives a mock schedule of, Messenger, SMS, email, like in one flow. But, the key flows, right, are like browse abandonment, cart abandonment. I would say win back, welcome series for sure. If you have any kind of upsell series, and those are probably some of the key ones. There's obviously others. There's obviously others you can set up. But the ones that drive the most, I think, are cart, browse, and welcome series. So those would be the first 3 I would focus in on. And like a welcome series, again, don't make them separate. Think of them as things that can work together. And also you can do a conditional split based on whether someone is or is not connected to you on Messenger or SMS. So as an example, like you can have one type of like cart abandonment message if the person is already received a Facebook message versus if they didn't. Personalizes the experience, makes it better, increases the conversion rate. You do the same thing with SMS.
Got it. So and before we dive into more sort of advanced tactics here, just to give everybody some ideas around how effective SMS and Messenger can be. And I think everybody's pretty familiar again with the idea of email and email automated flows, seeing open rates of anywhere from, call it 20 to 40%, just depending upon the segmentation and effectiveness of the campaign. For actual engagement and open rates and click rates for things like SMS and Messenger, what types of numbers should people be expecting? So you should expect anywhere from 80 to 95% on the open rate side. If it's getting a much lower one, then maybe something is off or it's not a really good set of numbers. This is also why you don't just spam a whole group of phone numbers. That's a really bad one. If you already have a phone number list, cull the list a little bit
And even like your first message can just be like, we know we're going to send you these things. If you haven't texted them ever or in a while, because you've collected phone numbers most likely over time, I would make sure being like, if you want to receive numbers, this, you like, just like stay tuned or say, and if you don't want to, just say stop and we'll remove you, something to like help you call that list and make sure that it's people who really want to get it. Because SMS is more personal, but a lot of people prefer SMS over email. Like there's a whole bunch of 13 to 18-year-olds, Gen Z, that don't even have email addresses, which is like insane for people to think, but you want them to buy, and they're going to be in their 20s and they're already in their 20s. You need to text them. You need to Facebook message them. So you need to go and do that.
There's a whole slew of brands that we're seeing be rolled out right now that their primary channel is SMS. I mean, they're releasing flash sale style promotions that used to be run through email, 5 to 10 years ago with companies like, I'm forgetting their name now. But it's the idea around, as opposed to sending an email with a flash sale, there's brands that are now sending all their flash sales specifically through text. And the only way you can actually get the deals is through text. So again, and that's targeted towards a much younger audience. But again, that's how effective this can be. So it's something that if you're not doing, you need to be looking into whether or not it works for your brand and for your audience, and then start to layer these into your flows. And Ben, I like your point that these aren't separate things, right? This is one flow with just multiple sort of modalities of communication.
One additional note I want to really stress is a lot of people are scared to do SMS and Messenger for that matter, because they're worried that people will be upset or that or that sort of thing. The truth is opposite, which is your customers would prefer if you did it that way. A lot of them, and especially the ones that are personally opting in for that, because that's how they live their lives and communicate. It's making their lives harder and making it harder for them to build a connection with you if the only option is email. It's the same. Give them the option, the choice of the way they want to be connected.
I love that. So let's sort of kind of turn around the corner here and let's talk about beyond just sort of basics. So brands that need to set up those basic flows or start to layer in SMS into and Messenger into their baseline email flows and flows of communication. If you're already doing that, right? What's some of the cool stuff that you guys are seeing that's sort of pushing the envelope, or sort of the cutting edge stuff that you guys are able to enable brands to do at Octane AI that maybe most folks don't know is possible, or things that they should be looking at?
All right, I want to talk about one I'm really excited about. So I feel like the traditional way most people have done SMS is I got a number list. Let's go blast them all, right? Send them a message to all of them. Yeah. Fine. But also not personalized, not the point. Like no one wants to be on a mass text. The more personalized, the better. We've learned this over and over again from email, from on-site personalization. Personalization drives better customer experience and better sales. Now, one thing, because we are like the one platform that has Messenger and SMS under one roof, is that you have the ability with Octane AI to create SMS segments based on Facebook data and based on the actions people take in Messenger. And so this opens up a ton of new possibilities. So let me give you an example. You can text your SMS list with a Octane AI link. And this is something that we have been doing with a couple of our customers. And when they click it, it'll drop them into a Messenger sequence where like they'll be opted in for Messenger. They can always unsubscribe if they want to, but now you can actually offer them like a real quiz. So for example, you can text them about like, hey, let's help you find the right thing for the holidays, the right gift, just like, and then they click, now they're in Messenger. Now they can just answer a few questions because Messenger has the functionality to have the buttons where you have the different quick replies. It could ask the questions of what flavor are you looking for? What kind of product are you looking for? What's your budget? All those questions. And each time someone answers one of those things, not only is it creating a segment on Messenger, but now it's creating a segment in SMS. Now you can text just the people who are looking for a product for their friend, or people who have birthdays in January, or people who said that they have dry skin versus oily skin. And then also some of the Facebook data, like now you can split it between men and women. Even just that simple thing can have a major, major impact. And we have a whole bunch of technology that on our side, in addition to just even sending out a link, that allows us to associate a Facebook ID to a phone number, which means it opens up a world of personalization possibilities that is just not possible on pretty much any other SMS platform.
So let's kind of go through maybe a couple more examples of how you can use that data. What's some cool things you guys see, some brand, you don't have to name the brands, but some cool ways you're seeing some of your clients use that right now?
Yeah. So I even just like one that did a different kind of like messaging between, their male customers or their male subscribers and their female subscribers. Okay. Different products. Like that sounds so simple.
So simple.
But you should be doing that, and it's like you can do it. We don't need any predictor tech to like figure out is it a man or a woman. We know that data, and we know other pieces of data. We know time zone. We know and there's other things, but getting incredible. More advanced. And this is on the messenger side, but this correlates in with like creating the list with SMS, which is with Octane AI, you can target Facebook messages based on any Facebook custom audience. So as an example, you could send a message to people based on their birthday, based on it's their close friend's birthday coming up. They just had an anniversary. They just announced an engagement. Any segment that you've ever created with a Facebook custom audience, send a message to them. If you ask for a phone number, now that is synced to that profile. Now that list also applies to when you're texting out. And so you could use Messenger to create a whole bunch of segments based on all this other Facebook data. And even further, you can send messages based on somebody just got 1,000 points in their Loyalty Lion or Smile or Swell rewards program, or somebody, just dropped off subscription. Somebody just signed up for subscription. Somebody just wrote a 5-star review. Somebody wrote a 1-star review. This kind of really personalized, really triggered, individualized message that's not only based on like their shopping data, but based on the data of the other apps that you're using. That's the holy grail.
I love that. So give me a couple examples of some integrations. You talked about reviews. You talked about loyalty programs. What else do you guys integrate in or with that allows you to do some personalized messaging that brands just need to be aware of? Just kind of let us know, like, what are some of those cool integrations that we need to be testing out?
So like two, and we cover this in the Octane AI playbook. We call them sponsored message apps because that's how you target it. And octaneai.com/playbook. I know again, but if you want to go and see the individual ones, but two,
we'll link it up in the show notes too.
That thing is 250 pages. I went through a lot of time.
I've seen it. It's impressive.
Small piece of my soul is in there somewhere. But okay, reversion is an example. With Octane AI plus reversion, you can actually send a message to specific to your affiliate, to your affiliates, and get them to take a specific action with a really, really high open rate. And you could use it to collect their phone number too, if you haven't collected it already, and bring them deeper into that program. Now, another thing you can also do, as a side note, you can also run Octane AI click to messenger ads towards people to join your affiliate program, collect their messenger email and phone number all in one swoop through the ad, and then use that profile to segment are they a male affiliate, female affiliate, or what's their location, all sorts of things like that.
So to back up real quick, just to make sure people understand what you mean by click to messenger ad. I know what you're talking about, but can you give everybody just a quick understanding of what that means?
So Octane AI has a feature called conversational ads. One of the things that allows you to do is run this new type of ad called a Facebook click to messenger ad. It looks just like a traditional Facebook ad. It appears in the news feed, the Instagram feed, other feeds. The only difference is when you click it, it connects you and drops you into Messenger. It opts you in for Facebook Messenger messages as a customer. And now you can have the back and forth conversation, or ask a question, or ask a quiz, or offer an additional discount if they give a phone number. And what we've seen is, on average, our customers who are running these click to messenger ads get up to 2 times an improvement in their return on ad spend, because it's an ad unit that can follow up with the customer. It comes already pre-built with cart and browse abandonment messages. You can add the welcome series. You can add the other messages in a series. And those messages following up within that first 24 hours dramatically increases the conversion rate of your ads.
Love it. I think that's a piece that not enough brands understand that you can do. You can run ads specifically to Messenger, and that it puts the customer in a completely different flow with you, right? As opposed to just driving them straight to product or straight to your site. It turns this into a conversation. It turns it into a more personalized experience.
Yeah, you get to know, the customer feels better, they get to know more. We've also seen if someone goes through a quiz or a conversational ad that is a quiz, the conversion rate skyrockets. I've seen conversion rates, if they go through that kind of Messenger quiz, 40, 50% and above.
And when you say Messenger quiz, you mean somebody who's opting into Messenger. So now you've got an automated sort of Messenger communication that's just asking questions?
Yeah. So again, it's crazy because everyone, if you have more than one product, or even if you have one product, you want to be asking a quiz. Either that quiz is helping them find a product, or that quiz is helping them warm up to buying something. Like,
agreed.
Here, I'm going to give you a silly example. It's not a real example, but do your feet get cold? Yes. Do you hate it when you walk barefoot and get stuff in your feet? Yes. Would you wish there was some protection for your feet? Yes. You definitely need this new thing called shoes. See how that does actually get people warmed up, and there's a really good way to warm them up, and you can learn more about them. And they might you could be asking is just what kind of feet do you have, or what kind of issues do you have? There's all sorts of these kinds of questions that's individual to each e-commerce brand. You want to parse and get that information, and then you want to use that information to segment your SMS, and then you want to send really targeted SMS based on that. So instead of sending one giant blast to, let's say, 50,000 people, you're going to send 100 more concentrated messages, and those are going to perform phenomenally better.
Love it. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So Ben, this was super helpful. So to everybody out there listening, is if you haven't dipped your toes into SMS or even Facebook Messenger yet, start with the basics, right? Don't look at this as sort of a separate thing that has to be sort of bolted on aside from your email. You need to be thinking about one line of communication, one stream of communication, and then just utilizing SMS and Messenger as different touch points in those various flows, right? And looking at abandoned cart to begin with, browse abandonment, welcome series campaign, VIP campaigns, et cetera, as sort of your baselines. And then looking at some more advanced features. If you've already started to set those up, what I think is very cool is this idea of the Facebook ads to Messenger play, and starting to test around with taking folks from an ad into a Messenger, running them through a quiz, being able to segment down based upon the way that they answers those quiz questions, and then putting them into segmentations that you can fire off either more Facebook messages or SMS. That's going to be more targeted to who they are, because now you have some data on them. I love that advanced play. I think that's a very cool tactic.
One additional note here, and we've done the research. If the revenue per subscriber increases by 20 to 30% by each additional touch point you add. So imagine you make $5 per email subscriber, you can expect to make maybe $7 to $8 at least if they're on email and Messenger, and closer to $10 at that point if you got email, Messenger, and SMS. The value of that customer is much higher, and the touch points and the open rates as a result are much higher, and the engagement is much higher. Done thoughtfully, it's a holy grail of just really personalized, not just personalized marketing, but just a personal connection with the customer in a way that really hasn't been done or doable before messaging automation was available.
I love it. And so, Ben, if people want to get started with this, right? If they want to get started with SMS, they want to get started with Messenger, or if they just want to get started with Octane AI in general, best place for them to go would be
OctaneAI.com. OctaneAI.com/demo. Get the scoop on doing both things, and doing them together, and all the possibilities of coordinating the flows together and coordinating with your email platform like Klaviyo within our integrations. You could always also, if you're a Shopify store, you can always just go to the App Store, search Octane AI, and get started. But I definitely recommend talking to someone on the team. They're going to give you the full skinny on all the possibilities. And then make sure you get the playbook too, the OctaneAI.com/playbook, because that is the step-by-step instructions on how to do everything.
Yeah, I was going to say recommending checking out the playbook before you do anything, because I think for a lot of folks, the opportunity here is almost too endless. Like there's just too many options. So I think actually getting very tangible and looking through the playbook and seeing what you can do would be really helpful. So the idea with this episode was let's give everybody a little bit of introduction to what's possible. And then I've seen the playbook. It's phenomenal. Ben spent a ton of time on it. This is sounding like a pitch, but it's really not. It's actually just really good content. So I highly recommend checking out if you want to start testing out SMS Messenger. And thanks for joining us, Ben.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you all soon. You can always email me, ben@octaneai.com. You want to talk about some strategies.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Hey crew, it's Alan Bird again. And real quick before you go, would you like a weekly digest of what's working today in the world of consumer-facing e-commerce? Every week, our team of strategists compile a single email with growth strategies and operations tactics that help you stay ahead of the curve and ahead of the competition. Think of it as the brand operator's cheat sheet. Just head over to thecommercelab.com to sign up.